If you take an AI model engineered for rigid, logic-heavy code generation and ask it to craft a delicate, creative brand narrative, the result is stiff and unusable. You are using the wrong tool for the job. Software providers market their frontier models as omni-models, capable of doing everything well. In practice, these models cluster into highly specific cognitive profiles. Some are natural executors, others are natural analysts. Very few are both. If you route finance, web searches, and copy through one brain, the system overloads. The real hurdle is assigning specific cognitive profiles to specific work. Realm clears this bottleneck, splitting operations into 5 classes: warrior, mage, hunter, cleric, and bard. Filling these 5 roles requires a decision matrix. You have to choose between a quality-first cloud stack and a privacy-first local budget stack. The cloud approach gives you unmatched speed and reasoning capability. The trade-off is that you pay recurring API costs and you are sending your company's data to an external server. The local approach offers absolute data privacy and 0 recurring token costs. You trade away top-tier creative writing and assume the overhead of running heavy hardware yourself. Running a highly functional human agent company requires abandoning the simplicity of a single provider. You have to build a deliberate hybrid system. We start with the warrior. This class handles pure execution, moving cards on Trello boards, triggering APIs, writing code, and running defined workflows. Looking at this character card for Claude Sonnet 4.6, we see our premium cloud pick for the warrior. It maxes out its execution capability, making it incredibly reliable for complex, multi-step operations. You get flawless reliability, but pay a premium in API fees and expose your internal operational data to the cloud. If we flip the card to the local budget substitution, GLM 4.7-Flash, execution capacity stays high, but recurring API costs drop to 0. Assuming you have the local compute to run it, GLM 4.7-Flash is highly capable for writing code and executing UI actions without ever sending a ping outside your network. Your warrior choice comes down to a simple calculation. Do you want to pay for your daily operational throughput with a monthly subscription or with your own hardware's processing power? Next is the mage. This role handles financial forecasting, reading lengthy private documents, and delivering mathematically accurate reasoning. This character card shows Nematron Cascade 2. It is our primary recommendation for the mage class. Nematron is currently the best-in-class local model for mathematical accuracy. It excels at finding patterns and extracting insights from completely private internal documents. The catch is the hardware requirement. Running a reasoning model of this density locally demands significant VRAM and processing capability. If your hardware is limited, Qwen 3.6 is a highly effective budget alternative. It maintains strong analysis skills, but puts far less strain on your local machine. Because a mage processes your most sensitive financial and strategic data, keeping this role local is the safest baseline. You absorb the hardware strain to keep your financials private. The hunter's domain is strictly external. They scout live web data, track competitor moves, and capture fresh market signals. Local models struggle here. Without a frictionless native integration to the live internet, a local model cannot scout fresh data effectively. As you can see on this card for Grok 4.20, the hunter requires live data lines to the outside world. Grok is our singular optimal pick for web-based discovery. Because this class relies on external dependencies by definition, you cannot deploy a highly functional hunter without paying an API cost. Discovering external opportunities requires live internet access. This is the one role in your company where paying for a cloud connection is non-negotiable. The Cleric routes your cross-zone management, plans multi-step workflows, and maintains the daily schedule. We split the Cleric role into 2 distinct functions on this card. For the Business Cleric on the left, we recommend GPT 5.4. Orchestrating high-level business operations requires elite cross-task judgment. GPT 5.4 excels at holding wide context and keeping complex company systems moving. However, using GPT 5.4 to manage your personal schedule and daily energy levels is severe overkill. You are sending your most intimate daily routines to an external server. Looking at the personal side of the card, we recommend Gemma 4 as your local personal cleric. Gemma 4 runs locally, locking your private calendar data safely on your machine. You trade away ultra-complex reasoning, which you do not need for personal scheduling anyway, in exchange for absolute privacy. Dividing the Cleric role allows you to scale business logic on the cloud while keeping your personal life strictly guarded on your own hardware. Finally, the Bard. This class creates your brand storytelling, connects with your audience, and requires the ability to follow specific tone instructions. For premium content, this card shows Claude Sonnet 4.6. Its quality stat maxes out, giving you excellent prose and tight adherence to your brand voice. The drawback is token usage. If you use Sonnet 4.6 to run a high-volume daily content pipeline, your API costs will inflate rapidly. If you need scale, we flip the card to Claude Haiku 4.5. The prose quality drops slightly, but speed and volume max out instantly. Haiku drastically cuts your costs for large-scale content generation. You accept a noticeable drop in polish, meaning the human player will have to spend more time editing the final drafts. Selecting your Bard relies entirely on your strategy. Either pay a premium for publish-ready perfection, or cut costs and manage a raw content pipeline yourself. This quadrant chart maps our options from local to cloud and budget to premium. Now we combine these choices into cohesive rosters. First, the Performance Optimizer stack: Nematron as Mage, Sonnet as Warrior and Bard, GPT as Cleric, and Grok as Hunter. This stack guarantees maximum autonomy and high output quality. The trade-off is high monthly API costs and mixed data privacy. Second is the Privacy and Budget stack: Quen as your Mage, GLM as your Warrior, Gemma as your Cleric, and Haiku as your Bard. This setup guarantees predictable costs and tightly secured internal data. In exchange, you spend more time double-checking execution and editing content. You have to choose your stack based on what you are willing to spend, your monthly financial budget, or your daily operational time. The search for the perfect do-it-all omni-model is a trap that creates operational bottlenecks. A highly functional realm relies strictly on specialization. You do not need symmetry across the board. You need specific fits for specific cognitive tasks. Audit your current framework today. Look for friction points and identify which classes are underperforming because they run on a mismatched cognitive profile. Look at this scorecard. Honestly weigh your monthly API budget against your local hardware capacity before you lock in your final roster. Purposefully matching the right brain to the right class transforms a loose collection of AI tools into a unified, autonomous company of one.